Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 21st, 2024, and Barcelona just suffered yet another defeat at home. This time, this time at the hands of Atletico de Madrid in what is a deceiving result, but nonetheless a very devastating one. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end, and where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. Now, let's start with the match analysis because today, ladies and gentlemen, is a tough day. Today is a very, very tough day. It's a very tough result, but more important, a tough result that's with devastating consequences. And I'll talk about those consequences in a little bit, but definitely a tough day, a tough result, and a deceiving one. And I say deceiving one because Barcelona just lost to Atletico Madrid 1-2. But when you look at what actually happened in the match, the result is not reflective whatsoever. Because actually today, I'm very happy with the team's performance. Today, Barcelona had an excellent match. They had a great match. The team came out very, very motivated, very focused. They were playing with lots of intensity. The team were moving the ball quickly. They were having great combinations. They were generating chances, and they were generating a lot of danger. And the team was absolutely dominant. They dominated the entire first half. They imposed themselves on Atletico Madrid, and they completely subjugated Atletico de Madrid, and Barcelona were simply miles and miles ahead of Atletico Madrid. And that great performance during the first half was rewarded with Pedri's goal, which, by the way, was one hell of a goal. A little bit of luck there with Gabi's turn, but either way, one hell of a goal. And Atletico Madrid only had one attack the entire 45 minutes because that's how dominant Barcelona were. Now, during the second half, Barcelona were not as dominant, but nonetheless, they were still better than Atletico Madrid. They were still creating chances. They were still creating danger. They weren't as dangerous as the first half, but they were still creating chances. They were still better than Atletico Madrid. But unfortunately, we were very, very, very unlucky today. The ball just did not want to go in. And even though we created 9 chances of goal, we were only able to score 1. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid only had 4 shots at goal, and they were able to score 2. So very unlucky day today. We could have easily won 5-1, 4-1 against Atletico Madrid. Very, very unlucky. And that is why I'm not upset about the performance. I'm upset about the result. I'm upset about what the result means, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I'm not upset at the performance itself because, again, the team had a really great match. And as I've always said in all my post-match live analysis, I'm a very true believer that it's not just about the result. It's also about how the team plays. And today is a perfect example, right? The team played great. We lost. I'm not upset about the loss because losing is part of the sport. You can expect to lose against big teams like Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. So I'm not upset about that we lost because I still saw a team that performed great. Meanwhile, last season we had lots of matches where we did win, but I was still upset because even though we won, the performance was horrible. Today, it's the opposite. We had a great performance, but we lost. So I'm not too upset because, again, the team performed really well. What I am upset about is the last few matches because that's where the problem lies. Not today. Today, we're simply unlucky. Today, I chuck it off to bad luck. So I'm not upset about today's result. I'm upset about the last 6 matches. That's where the problem really lies. Losing against Real Sociedad, losing against Las Palmas, losing against Levante, tying against Rayo. That's where the problem really lies because in those matches, the team performed bad. And that's why we lost, right? You could perform great and still lose. And that's fine. It happens. Again, losing is part of the sport. But when you perform bad and you lose, you are the only one to blame there. It's not bad luck. It's not the referee. You are to blame there. And that's why I'm upset about those matches, not today's, because today the team performed great. We were simply unlucky. Last matches, the team performed horribly, and that's why we lost, and that's why we deserved those losses / those draws, right? So that's where the problem really lies. And I think the problem all stems because this team lost its humility. This team became overconfident because when this team started the season, they were an absolute steamroller, demolishing every opponent they had, whether it was top of the table, bottom of the table, mid-table, it didn't matter. Whoever we played against, we demolished 5-0, 5-1, 7-0, 4-1, 4-0. We beat Madrid, we beat Bayern, we beat Espanyol by scoring 3 goals in like 28 minutes. And I think after those series of absolute dominant performances, the team started to believe, hey, we're really, really good. We are the best in the world, and therefore we don't even have to try against smaller clubs because Leganés, Las Palmas, those are bottom of the table teams. I don't have to try against them. I'm really good. I'm beating teams like Madrid. I'm beating teams like Bayern. I don't need to try against Las Palmas and Leganés. I could just jog and just give half the effort because I'm just that good, right? And that's where the problem lies, is that the team lost its humility. The team became overconfident. That's why they dropped their intensity, and that's why we had those series of bad results as a result of that drop in intensity because of the team's overconfidence. And that's where the problem truly lies, because we dropped 13 points in those matches. Had we not dropped those 13 points, today we would have went into the match against Atletico Madrid 13 points ahead of them and 14 points ahead of Real Madrid. And today's loss, we would have said, that sucks, but who cares? Because now we are still 10 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. And we are still, 14 points ahead of Madrid with them with 2 matches less. But either way, we wouldn't have cared, right? Because we would have still had such a big cushion that we wouldn't have cared about today's loss. But today we do care about today's loss because now we're no longer at the top of the table. And again, it's not because today the team played great. Today the team deserved to win. Unfortunately, we were unlucky. So the problem is not today. The problem is the series of bad matches where the team dropped intensity because they became overconfident and they lost their humility. And today is proof of that, because look how well the team played. And what a coincidence. It was against Atletico Madrid, a top team, right? Because that's the problem with this team now. When they play top teams, they go all out, super motivated. And as a result, they get great results. That's why we're second in the Champions League. That's why we went from losing to Las Palmas to beating Dortmund in their own stadium, a place where they haven't lost in 3 years, to back to losing to Leganés. Because the problem of this team is getting motivated against bottom of table teams. That's the problem with this Barca. And today is a big proof of that, because today Barcelona came out motivated because it's Atletico Madrid. And we had a great match. We dominated them. We imposed ourselves on them. We were unlucky, but that happens, right? The problem is that we need to find a way to motivate ourselves against bottom and mid-table teams, because the majority of the teams you're going to play are going to be bottom and mid-table teams. You're only going to play big teams 2-3 times a year. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, that's it. You play each twice. That's 4 matches. If you're only going to come out motivated in those 4 matches, doesn't matter if you beat Madrid 20-0, 20-0, Atletico Madrid 15-0, 15-0. Who cares? You just got 12 points. And if you can't get motivated against the other 34 matches that you're going to have, you're going to have a big problem. You're still going to lose the Liga. So despite today's great performance, despite me being happy about today's great performance, I still think that this team is in crisis. And this team is going to have to figure out again how to stay motivated against every single opponent. Because when they're motivated, we've seen what they're capable of. We've seen those 5-0 after 5-0, beating Madrid, beating Dortmund, beating Bayern. Today, we dominated Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid looked like amateurs in front of us. We were unlucky, but we see what this team is capable of when they're motivated. And this team is going to have to find a way to always be motivated. Again, I'm not upset about the result today because today the team had a great match. I'm upset about all those bad results that we had before because those results were strictly a result of the team's drop in intensity. And the problem is that this result today, because of those bad matches, are having really devastating repercussions. Because look at the table right now. We are no longer first. Atletico Madrid are ahead of us by 3 points. And let's not forget something. Atletico Madrid have one less match. They've only played 18 matches where we played 19. So if Atletico Madrid win the remaining match that they haven't played yet, they could easily be 6 points ahead of us. Real Madrid, they're only 1 point behind, and they still have to play tomorrow's match. If Real Madrid win tomorrow against Sevilla, guess what? We're now third, with Real Madrid having one less match as well. So if Real Madrid also win their remaining match, now they're going to be ahead of us by 5 points. Atletico Madrid ahead of us by 6 points, and we're going to be third. And that's what the problem is with today's result. Again, not the performance. We had a great match. The problem is that today's result has a devastating consequence on La Liga race because of all those bad results that came before it. Had we done our job, had we came out motivated and focused like we always do against big opponents in those last 6 matches, today's loss wouldn't have mattered. We would be 10 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. We wouldn't even care. We would be over here talking about, oh, yeah, great, man. Sucks that we lost, but who cares? We're still first. But we're not. We're not. And that's because, again, the team lost its humility, became overconfident, dropped its intensity, and had that series of bad matches. 5 points out of 21. That is a crisis. And again, not because of today's performance, but because of the performance in other matches. Now, look at Athletic Club de Bilbao, by the way. They're only 2 points behind us. So we're closer to 4th place than we are to first. Anyways, that's my overall sensations. Again, I think it's a match. I'm not upset about the match. I think Barcelona had a great performance. They dominated. They were way, way better than Atletico Madrid, but we were simply unlucky and unfortunate. The problem is that this result has devastating consequences on La Liga race because of the bad performances that we had in the 6 matches preceding today's, where the team dropped its intensity because they became overconfident, thinking, oh, we beat Madrid, we beat Bayern, that's it. I don't have to prove myself. I don't even have to try against these bottom of the table teams because I'm so good, right? And that's where the problem lies. And this is where this team is still in crisis. And I really hope that Barcelona can take this Christmas break to push the reset button and find a way to be once again that humble team from the beginning of the season that came out every match, didn't matter who it was, whether it was Alaves or Real Madrid, came out looking to kill and looking to win. Now, overall, player-wise, I think Rafinha and Pedri were absolutely spectacular today. Rafinha, unfortunately, had 2 clear chances that he missed, but nonetheless, I thought he had a great match. Pedri was absolutely superb, out of this world, not just his goal, everything that he was doing. Lewandowski's today was completely ghost. I think Sorg or Flick, whoever was calling the shots, I should have definitely subbed them out. At halftime, I would have subbed out Lewandowski at halftime, to be honest. Casado, horrible mistake in Atletico Madrid's first goal. You just don't do that. You don't intercept the ball and pass it with your heel to your back at the edge of the box, leaving it for DePaul to just score. Horrible mistake by Casado. In the second goal, why didn't Pau Cubarsí pressure Molina? I think that was another bad mistake. Molina had all the time in the world to cross that ball. Had Pau Cubarsí went out to pressure him, maybe that cross wouldn't have been as good. And he could have easily done that because he still had Rafinha and Inigo behind him to cover the space that he would have left. So overall, I think Pedri, Rafinha, the 2 best players from today's match. The worst players, I would say Lewandowski and Casado. But again, I'm not upset about today's performance. I'm upset about the performances that we had in the 6 preceding matches. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking. Let me know in the chat section. And of course, for those of you who are watching this when the live stream ends, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in regards to the match down below in the comment section. Selvin says, I think it's safe now to admit that we need to bring in replacement for Lewa that moment we can. He added much of nothing the whole game, just like the last few performances. Yeah, it was a horrible performance by Lewandowski today. He was a ghost. And I think he should have been subbed out at halftime. Absolutely. Texas Transplant says, well, at least my Longhorns are dominating right now. Hook 'em. Hey, man, if you can find joy somewhere else, I'm happy for you. Valley says, results like these hit the locker room like a nuclear bomb. Hard to come back from this in La Liga. Not necessarily. Sometimes this is exactly what you need. Sometimes, and this might be a little bit of I don't know, maybe over exaggerating or maybe a horrible thought, but sometimes I think, what if had we lost El Clasico match? Would we be in the position that we are today? Because I would have preferred that we lose that El Clasico match, and that way the team would have stayed humble, playing with full intensity against every other opponent afterwards. And right now it would be first in La Liga table by a big margin over winning El Clasico, and now we're about to be third. I don't know. Let's see. Oscar says we don't have depth in the wings, Aaron. That's why we need Aleao. We don't have depth, unfortunately, and we saw it during the second half where we were just constantly just trying to go through the middle, because Ferran on the left is just like not having anyone on the left, and then Rafinha on the right. He's not really a winger, so all he could do is a dribbling winger, I should say that. So that all he could do is just cross from the right, which against a team, Atletico Madrid, crosses are just not going to work because they have 20 players in the box ready to intercept that cross. So no, unfortunately, we don't have depth in the wings. We need another winger that can do what Lamine does on the right, on the left, plus substitutes who can also do that for both wings. That way, if Lamine is injured, or if whoever we have on the left is injured or needs to be rotated, someone can come in their place and still be able to dribble and stretch the field out, rather than forcing all of our players to just go through the middle, which becomes very easy to defend against, because all you have to do is just put your players in the box and that's it. You stopped it. Fabrice says, like you said, Mo, I really like the performance of today. Pedri, Rafinha, and Kunde were really good today. Absolutely. Again, I'm not upset about the performance today. I think we were 10 times better than Atletico Madrid. We were simply unlucky where we couldn't convert the chances we created. But we have to be upset about what happened in the last 6 matches, because that's where the problem really lies. We dropped our intensity. We lost our humility. We thought that we didn't have to try against teams like Leganés and Las Palmas, and we dropped 13 points. Had we not dropped those 13 points, today's loss, we wouldn't even care. Right now, we would be sipping margaritas talking about like, oh, yeah, we lost, but we're still first, ahead of Atletico Madrid by 10 points and ahead of Real Madrid by 14. And even if they win their 2 remaining matches, we would still be ahead of them by 8 points. So who cares? But instead, it looks like we're going to be third. We're closer to 4th place than we are to 1st place. Fabrice says, I said during the game that Araujo needs to come on in the last minutes because he is quick. It will help in the fast transitions. I don't think it was a defensive problem today. I think both goals that Atletico Madrid scored were dumb mistakes. That one by Casado, the other one, maybe the other one wasn't a dumb mistake. I think Cubarsí should have pressured Molina, but that wasn't as bad of a mistake as what Casado did. You don't do a heel pass to the edge of the box with your back turned and you don't even know who's behind you. Why would you do that? Anyways, Not the Gamer says Casado popped off, and when he got subbed out, I feel like we missed someone who brings his intensity. He needed to be subbed off. He was making way too many mistakes. First, that came the mistake with a goal, and after that, I think that kind of threw him off. Again, not to bash Casado, because to me, Casado has been one of the best players all season for Barcelona. If not the, actually, not if, I know for sure that Casado is the best DM in the entire Spanish league by far this season. Like, I'm not here to bash Casado, but today he made mistakes and he needed to be subbed off. We can still admit that he's the best, and also admit that when he makes mistakes. Datu says, Mo, Barca play a beautiful game. The problem is the number 9 very slow. Barca have a lot of chances, but the number 9 not efficient. And Barca want to win match, please sign new striker. Today wasn't just a Lewandowski problem. And don't get me wrong, Lewandowski was awful. He just didn't do anything. I think he touched the ball once or twice in the first half. But today wasn't, Rafinha missed 2 clear ones. Fermin missed a clear one. Pedri had one where he also missed. Who else? Dani Olmo tried, but nothing was working for him. Gabi's just not the same. So I wouldn't blame it just on Lewy, even though, again, Lewy was awful today and he should have been subbed out at halftime. But this wasn't Lewy missing. I think Lewy missed. There was one that he missed clear in front of goal where Ferran crosses it to him, but that one was offside. So that one doesn't even count. I think he missed a header and he missed one else. Believe it or not, despite his horrible performance, he actually didn't miss that many, and that was the problem. Is because he wasn't touching the ball. Lewandowski touched the ball once in the first half, and I think twice in the second half. That's where the problem lies. It wasn't that he was missing; it was that he wasn't even in position to miss, because he was making the same mistake that he continued to make last season, which is to come out of the box and drop. And you would see Lewandowski all the way on the right, all the way on the left, all the way in the midfield. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're a center forward. Your job is to stay in the box and wait for passes. Stay in the fucking box. What the fuck was Lewandowski doing, dropping all the way? There were so many times that I saw him right next to Casado at defensive midfield. You're a center forward. Why the fuck are you by Casado? That was the problem. So it wasn't his misses, because he really didn't miss that much, because he was never in the fucking box to begin with for him to miss. The misses really came from other players. Like I said, Rafinha had 2 clear ones. Fermin had a clear one. Pedri had a clear one. Gabi, I think Gabi had 2 clear ones. We had a lot of misses from other ones. Lewandowski, the problem is he could not stay in the fucking box. And I think he should have been subbed out at halftime. And they should have brought in Pau Victor. Or at least, if you don't want to risk it that much, fine. Sub him out at 60th minute and bring Pau Victor. But sub him out. Lewandowski had no business finishing the match today. There was no business doing the full 90 minutes. Just absolutely not. Nathan says, Mo, who do you blame this loss on? Bad luck. Bad luck. Again, we played one hell of a match. We dominated. We moved the ball quickly. We had great combinations. Created lots of chances, lots of danger. We were miles ahead of Atletico Madrid. The ball just did not want to go in. And this happens. This happens all the time. The problem is our drop in form. The last 6 matches where we dropped 13 points, that's where the problem lies. Because matches like these ones, they always come around every season, and it happens to everybody. Any team has this kind of match where they're just playing better and they're generating chance after chance after chance, and the ball just does not want to fucking go in. The ball hits the post. The goalkeeper blocks a bunch of them. It just doesn't want to go in. It happens to all the teams, right? And this is why it's important to build a cushion, because matches like these always happen. And had we maintained our cushion up top, today we would be like, it sucks, but who cares? We're still first. But no, we dropped 13 points. So now today we do care, because now we're going to be third, it looks like it. Unless Madrid somehow lose tomorrow against Sevilla, which I don't see it happening. But anyways. Robert says, bro, I've been watching Barcelona since Romario was playing there. I'm not a new come about fan. I'm telling you, this would do with a couple changes. And what would be your changes? I'm curious to hear. So please let me know, my friend. Carlos says, Kill Bill mad. Oh, wait. I don't think he's talking to me. Let's see. All I can say is, but why is Barcelona fond of not shooting from outside the box, passing around like they're injured? When a powerful shot is being fired, there's a chance for a rebound. Because we don't really have players that have that much power to shoot from outside. I think the only players that can do that is maybe Rafinha and maybe Fermin. Besides that, we don't really have players that could do that. Plus, it's not our style. We're not a team to shoot from. We're more of a team that gets in the box through our passing and through our plays rather than just shooting from outside the box. The Pelo says, taking a break from Barca, can't do this. I'm having last season's trauma. Don't worry, my friend. We have a Christmas break now. Enjoy the holidays with your family. Recoup. Hopefully the players could do the same, hit the reset button, and just come out, much more focused in 2025. Matt says Rafinha was insane at right wing and was dribbling, though. Rafinha had a really good match. Really, really good match today. I think him and Pedri were the two best. I don't know who I would pick MVP out of the two of them, because the two of them had a spectacular match today. It was unfortunate how, I guess if I had to pick, it would be Pedri, because I think they're both had equally great matches. But since Pedri scored a goal, he gets to, by a little bit, move forward. So I guess I would give the MVP to Pedri. But to me, Pedri and Rafinha were absolutely amazing. I wish Rafinha could have scored that. What's called, I'm blanking here, but the one he hit the post, I wish he could have scored that. But great match by Rafinha for sure. Curtis says we need to stop being too brilliant. Even with scoring, we are not being simple, and now we are not finishing our chances. Our team played very well, but playing well is not enough. Again, I think today we could chuck it off to bad luck. The ball just did not want to go in. And again, it happens all the time. The problem is the other matches where we shouldn't have lost. And the only reason we lost is because we dropped our intensity, and otherwise we wouldn't be caring today. Lamine says, Mo, it has to no use playing good football and end of losing. It hurts a lot of shit football week in and week. It does have use to play good football, because if you play football and you stay consistent, the wins will eventually come. Of course, obviously, great football is not going to guarantee you a perfect results. That's impossible. You can always still play great and still lose, like today. But if you always play great, you're going to win a lot more than you are going to lose. You know, you're going to have a lot more matches where you're going to win because you play great versus matches where even though you play great, you lost. So, of course, there's use to playing good football. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Yamal's New World Order says Gabi is overrated. No, I don't think so. He just came back from injury. Those injuries, according to experts, doctors, sports therapists, the injury that Gabi had, which is the torn ACL and the damaged meniscus, they say it takes about a year to recover from physically and another year to recover your form to what you were before. Whole year. Gabi's been playing for what, a month? And what, you expect him already to be playing like he was last time? Let's, again, this is not FIFA. This is not a video game. This is real life. It's a lot more complicated than that. Abu says we need more experienced players in Barcelona. We need more depth. That's what we need. We need more depth in the bench, because it's like today, right? Simeone makes his two substitution, Molina and the guy that scored a goal. I forgot his name. I think he's Norwegian. He makes those two subs, and look what happens. Molina assists, and the Norwegian guy scores. Right? We make our subs. Who comes off? Who comes on? Ferran. I mean, did you guys see Ferran do anything? I mean, I guess he had that cross to Leite that Leite missed, but that was offside anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But besides that, they didn't do anything. Eric, whatever. He was there, I guess. Danny tried things, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. So I guess that's the only sub that kind of added to the match. The other ones didn't. Okay, one more comment. Abraham says Balde isn't good enough. We need to convince Alfonso Davis to sign for free. I don't think Balde was the problem today. I saw Balde very engaged today, participating in both attack and defense. I think it's easy to point at Balde because, like I've said many times before, Balde has to cover the entire left side by himself. So he becomes a lot more exposed. So I think it's just easier to point at him. There's always the players that are much easier to point the fingers at, whether it's they deserve it or not. And I think Balde is one of those players. He has to cover the entire left side by himself. He doesn't have anyone to help him. Koundé's on the right. He has the help of Lamine. And if it's not Lamine today, he had the help of Rafinha. So Koundé and Rafinha were both covering the entire right side of the field, whether it's attacking or defending. Left, it's always Balde. It's always Balde by himself. Even when Rafinha plays on the left, he plays more as an interior through the middle than he does on the flank. So it ends up being Balde covering the whole thing. And when you cover that entire length of the field, you're gonna get exposed. There's no other player on Barcelona, other player on the team that has to cover an entire field by himself. Nobody. Koundé has the help of Lamine. In the midfield, we have Casado covering the back of Pedri, vice versa. And Olmo, we have three players covering the middle. Even four, because Rafinha plays through there. Lewandowski in front of him. We have Cubarsí and Iñigo covering the back with Iñaki. I mean, we have all the areas of the field have multiple players covering it, except the left. We only have one. So, of course, he gets a lot more exposed, so it's a lot easier to just point the fingers at him. But I don't think it was today. It was Balde's, Atletico Madrid's first goal was Casado's fault. The second one, I think Pau Cubarsí should have pressured Molina. Anyways, all right. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. If you haven't hit the like yet, make sure you do. It helps this channel a lot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. And of course, I will see you in a news video, because yes, there will be a news video after this. So again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, peace, guys.